Hello traders, welcome to a post-session review. Today is Friday, August 23rd, and took two trades today. One was a loser, one was a winner. We'll get into the trades here soon. But we had a gain today of $330. For transparency's sake, 333, 333. The account balance is 2852.15. 2852.15 down here. We'll bring it up here, 2852.15. Okay, we're still in the mud, but we're making progress. As you can see, the risk reward is very much in favor, and because of that, the losses right now seem like they matter, but in the long run they don't. We need to find a couple more winners in a row to get out of the mud, get back where we want to be, and we're just a trade or two from achieving that, as long as we follow our trade plan. Today's trades did not go exactly how we wanted to, and there was a little disregard for some rules, but we'll get into that here shortly. Here, minimize this, minimize that. And this is the day today. As you can see, we came into the day, we had a expectation failure here to the upside, followed by another expectation failure to the downside, followed by another one to the upside, and then another one to the downside here, which is very crappy, but luckily we didn't participate in that. But as the market came down, it made a proper correction overall, as this is the main swing up here to this down here that made the new structure low. Okay, we cannot fall for this little fake out here saying that this is our main swing when it's not. It's this right here, and that achieved the proper correction here, the 38%, which had me following the order flow forward. Remember, we need to go back as far as we can find a main swing, and before we can call this our main swing, we needed to make sure that we achieved the proper correction, which we did. And price corrected here properly, had another new structure low, lower high, new structure low. It looked like the order flow was starting to follow its normal course of action here and its normal expectation. We had very good momentum on these, increasing projection here, slightly less here, slightly less momentum, but nonetheless I expected a new structure low. And as the market started having more immediate order flow here and having issues with the buyers coming in for long, I didn't participate here because I wasn't quite set up yet, and I was still identifying things, structures and stuff, and I was having a conversation with someone, but that's besides the point. I didn't get into this here, but as the market came down and tested the lows here, I felt pretty confident it was only a matter of time before the sellers have another attack up their sleeves here. This, as far as the immediate order flow here, we had a back of a shift to the downside, so we have realignment of all of the immediate and short-term order flows with the overall order flow, so I felt pretty good about that. As price came into this area up here, we had a nice rotation here in price, and as the sellers came in here, and sorry, let me make the scale a little easier for you guys. Today was market was pretty out of hand. Anyway, I came in here, the market came up again, and then we had another rotation here, and the market came down. This is some sort of a news release that happened at 10 a.m. and the market went pretty crazy here, went in favor really fast, and it went against me really fast, and then went in favor again. At this point, I'm like, okay, my stop is where it needs to be. It is what it is. And sure enough, boom, I got taken out here for 46 points, which was a disappointment, and quite frankly, it hurt. It hurt because we were already in the mud, and then we got deeper in the mud, and I'm like, oh my God, are the hits ever going to stop coming? But we got to separate that emotion from our trading, right? And as the market came up and accelerated to the upside and had a correction here and had another move up here, I'm sorry, the main swing, as you can imagine, is now from here all the way up there. Okay, we did not, and if we did, then I didn't read into it right now. Okay, we didn't achieve a proper correction here, which had me looking for longs on the expectation failure. okay, as price came here and started moving pretty swiftly to the downside here. Now my expectation was for a new structural high. I saw how hard the sellers were attacking here and how quickly that turned around. Plus there was a lot of absorption here overall to the upside. So I felt this was a decent area to get long. And I did the price action that confirmed that with some nice absorption here. I am looking into entering on absorption and not so much rotation. But here, not only did I get the absorption, but I got the rotation. And as soon as this candle closed, I pulled the trigger. But the next candle immediately came down a little, so I got slipped in favor. One of those rare times that things like that happen. The slippage worked out in my favor. And as the market started coming up and started moving up towards these highs, I felt pretty good about the overall health of the buyers. And why would I say that? Well, when the sellers were coming down here pretty well, I did see that the buyers were willing to try to absorb up here, and here, which led me to the understanding that the market did want to see higher price action. Okay, and as the price came down here, these smaller candles these smaller candles here are more balanced candles, which means what? That there's buyers in them. Although they did not achieve any absorption of any kind, we do know that they were coming into this move down. They were willing to buy, and as price came down into the area where the buyers did come in to make a difference, sure enough, price follows suit and started moving up. Now on these little swings to the upside, we see that where did the buyers defend on an attack here? They defended here, right? So I brought this forward, okay, and as the buyers came in here and defended this area, so now I had a point here and a point there as an area of interest for the buyers to defend. So as the buyers came up here and the sellers came in here a little early. As we can see that this is the area where they tried to come in before. They tried to defend that again. So the sellers came in here, and then the buyers defended where they needed to defend, and then we were able to get above that. So that further increased my confidence in the buyers, if you will. And then in these little battles here, we can see although the sellers won a few of those and defended their areas, that ultimately the buyers were able to hold on to that. And as price came up here, this is where some of the emotion came in. I was up 100 plus points at that point, and I was already at a break even. I got to a break even a little early at this area here because the market has sold off pretty nice off of these levels here and here. So I was a little concerned about the risk. I was a little concerned, I was already up 80 something points, and I went to a break early even, looking more to protect my trade versus the proper rule set. So because the market was so chaotic, because the market was moving very swiftly and somewhat erratic, and we had so many expectation failures on the day, I decided to manage this trade way more aggressively outside of my normal rule set. And that can be a problem, and it can turn into a problem if you allow things like that to happen consistently. But I wanted to protect the trade. I felt an emotional need to protect the trade and to try to capture as much as possible. Now, I did not start trailing here, but I did protect the trade. I didn't want to compound or make an 80 something point winner turn into a full loss here, adding to the loss that I already had to the day. 100% emotional. It was my Achilles heel for the day. Overall, it worked out fine, and that's another problem. But once price got back up here to these highs here, I got really aggressive and I started trailing. My goal was to start trailing at the smaller ABCD and hopefully get up to this area. The problem with that was that I was up 114 points when I made that decision. And when I look left and I see how the sellers reacted to this level here and here, I got really concerned after this, and I said, you know what, 114 points is a lot of points to give back and end up with a break even, especially when I've been in the mud in drawdown and already had another pretty sizable loss here There's no way I'm going to give that back. And as you can see, that every statement that I just made was what? Emotionally based, right? So it happens to the best of us. But 112 points is 112 points, and sometimes it's hard to follow a rule on that. And this time it worked out, because what happened? Not only um, well, I would have trailed here, I would have made slightly more, but price never got to the original profit target, was up, which was up here. And if I had followed the trade plan to the T, which was, this is a trade that I got into, this is the one-to-one that I was targeting here off of the clear swing. This is where I should have been starting to trail, and you can see price never got there, and price went on and just completely steamrolled over. So, you know, it was an emotional breaking of the rule, which ended up paying dividends and recovering the loss and giving us a nice profit for the day. As you can see, risk reward is what it's all about. It's what makes these little losses insignificant, or the last 3 or 4 losses insignificant. Can't stress that enough. Always strive for the best risk reward possible, but do not do it at the expense of your trade plan and filtering trades out that don't have the risk reward that you would love to have. Okay, because remember, it's about expectancy. I'm sorry, frequency to get to the expectancy. But again, not proud of breaking the rules, but in this case, it worked out very nicely. So I am still not proud, and I don't deserve that win, although I'll take it. But when things like this happen, it could be one of those very slippery slopes, because now you decided to take a, you know, pull rank and make a command decision to take those points, or to get aggressive to capture those points, and it worked out in your favor. And that may lead you to a sense of empowerment or entitlement to do that at will into the future. I will tell you from experience that that is a no-no. It is a recipe for disaster, and one that will cost you more money than it will make you. So let's try to keep those emotions under control. Let's try to keep ourselves disciplined and on our trade plan. And that is my post-session review for the day. So having said that, next week, Wednesday, we'll have another live stream. I hope to get all this, you know, professional audio equipment that I bought to not have this problem again set up. I have some learning to do. I'm a little behind still with these, with the presentation that I want to make you guys, and with those Q&A videos. I'm sorry. I'll try to catch up as best I can, but understand that everyone in my house is sick, and there's a lot going on. And I thank you for your support and for your patience, and good trading, everyone. Thank you.